guys, welcome back to Spilling the Reality with Trisha and Kiley, where we are here to completely break down all things happening on The Amazing Race in the latest episode that just aired and just wrapped up here in the Central Standard Time zone and the East Coast. I know the West Coast, y'all haven't got it yet, so if you don't want spoilers, head out. But everyone who is joining us, please drop a comment. We are watching the comments as we walk through the episode. And if you are not watching with us live and you're watching with us later because it's past your bedtime, drop us a comment. Let us know what your thoughts are on today's episode. Don't forget to subscribe and drop us a thumbs up. All right, Kiley. So we have a lot to unpack, but we have been teasing that we have some tea to spill all week. So last week we talked about The Amazing Race, and we had to rewatch the episode because we interviewed Cody and Nathan, and they were so fun to talk about. And as we were rewatching the episode and looking at some of the time differences, we kind of noticed something was off and started digging into the Reddit world, and we uncovered some things. So
So let's talk about them. There were some discrepancies that, obviously we know that the producers don't show us everything that happens. People get lost, people take longer to complete challenges, but typically if it's something that really affects someone's positioning, they usually show it to us. We've seen plenty of times where people have driven around in the countryside, completely lost, which is what I would be doing if I were in charge of some directions. But in the first episode, we didn't get that. So we've got some graphics for y'all. We're going to present our case, and y'all can chime in and let us know what you think.
So you guys are the jury, okay? We are presenting the evidence. Me and Kiley are the lawyers, and you guys are the jury, and we want you guys to weigh in on this. There's lots of Reddit. There's not lots. There's a Reddit post about it, and then there's lots of comments under it. And so we're just going to give our take and present you guys the evidence and go from there. All right. So on Reddit, there was this magical graphic.
We did not create this.
We did not.
Shout out to this creator.
Reddit. And yeah, they put this together and it's absolutely awesome. I hope they do this every episode. I just want to, do we have the name of the person? Because this is so good. I don't want to not give them credit. It's from, no, but we will.
We'll figure it out. We'll tweet it out. Try to give some credit where credit's due. But this graphic basically shows all the teams represented by a colored line. It's a little hard to see, possibly, depending on what device you're viewing on. And then it shows them, like, whenever they got to the fruit stand and which flight they were on from Trinidad to Tobago, and when they got done with the fish, and when they got to the drums, and then their final positioning. So, as you can see by the lovely chart, we have Nathan and Cody. They finished the fish where they had to put in the lock. The
very first thing is arriving at the fruit stand. So let's go
step by step.
Yeah. So the very first thing is arrival at the fruit stand. So that's this very first column to the left. At the top of the graph, it says arrival at the fruit stand. All right. So we see, team number 1 is Riley and Madison. They're the yellow line. Okay. And it just goes in order. It's colored by their uniforms. So that makes this extra easy for you guys and for us. All right. So it's colored by their uniforms. Arrival at the fruit stand. So we get there. Nothing real crazy happens. And the next one is roll barrels to the carnival. So we know D'Angelo and Gary are first there. And we see, Cody and Nathan are 5th to this. Alana and Leo are 10th to this. So they're 5 places behind Cody and Nathan, and then Cody and Nathan are 5 places behind first place. All right, moving on to the beach. So this is the fish competition, and the first team done at this competition was Will and James, and you see there the purple line, and their line goes from the bottom to the top real quick. Started from the fruit stand to this. They made up a lot of time. Nothing fishy has happened yet that we can see based on the edit. All right. So then we see Cody and Nathan get 7th in this competition, and Leo and Alana are close behind at the next place of 8th place. So they're very close together. Okay? Important. This is important.
Take note.
All right. So that was arriving to the beach. Doing the fish, finding the matching fish. First place is Michelle and Victoria, the black team. And then Cody and Nathan are moved up a spot from 7th to 6th place because they did this competition pretty quickly, or this challenge pretty quickly. And then Leo and Alana have bumped down to 10th place. So they lost a little bit of time in that challenge. So they are currently back to 10th place. Cody and Nathan are at 6th place. All right. So then we move on to the start of the roadblock. So getting from the fish to the roadblock and the end of the roadblock. So you can see Cody and Nathan's orange line completely plummet down.
Right.
Like just straight down. No one in any other of this line really goes just straight down like this.
Right. And so, like, one important thing that we need to point out is that with them finishing the fish challenge 6th, like, we should have seen them at the drums with Chi and Hung and with
we should
Michelle and Victoria.
Yeah.
We should have seen them up there with these first place teams. But we don't ever see them there. We see them down at the bottom with Kelly and Levon and Gary and D'Angelo. And so, like, what happened? How did they go from 6th to the end? And obviously there's something missing that they didn't show us.
Yeah, I mean, while the drums obviously took a lot of their time, it didn't take this much of their time. Like, I mean, it definitely could have taken, but they still left the drums before some of the other teams. They weren't the last team to leave the drums. Right? They weren't.
I think they were.
They were. Okay. Never mind. So just
yeah, I'm pretty certain they were. But they should, what happened to their position? They should have been up here with the people at the front of the pack. How did they end up down here?
Right.
And what did the producers not show us? So we keep investigating, guys. And during the episode when it was initially airing, we noticed that, and y'all, we're not trying to cast any shade onto any contestants.
This isn't a contestant's fault. Like, this is obviously not, because it didn't have to do with the race itself. It had to do with something that happened behind the scenes. And, you know, like, we don't know what, like, I don't actually know all the rules to Amazing Race, or like we said at the very beginning, we're very casual viewers. So we only caught this because we had to go back and rewatch the episode. And we're kind of thinking of questions like we could ask them and talk to them about. And we're like, this isn't quite adding up.
Right. And so we see that while they're doing the little drums, one team looks really different from all the other teams. And we notice, and we enter in Exhibit B, that Leo and Alana are still in their swimsuits. And they're not only just in their swimsuits, y'all, but they are actually still wearing their, like, waterproof mics. So, like, this necklace that Alana is wearing, this is a waterproof mic. You can see Nathan and oh gosh, what is her name?
Aparna.
Aparna. In the background. I can't remember. I'm sorry. We're still working on their names, but you can see Alana here. You can see Nathan and Aparna in the background, and they're back in their regular clothes and have on their regular microphones. So, we're just curious, like, why?
Yeah, like it seems like, so what it looks like is, I mean, we do know that they have opportunities to like change clothes and do these things. Now, the question is, do they have to do that? Like, again, we don't know the rules. So it's like, do they have
why wouldn't everybody rush and
like
not change?
Exactly. So it's like, do they have to change, or can they just go to the next competition? And like Alana and Leo were the only ones to realize this. Or, did something happen that caused Cody and Nathan to have to go back, or to do something? Because they did mention in our interview there was something else that happened that caused a little bit of a delay that obviously we didn't see on TV, and we don't know what that was. And so they might not have been last necessarily if, they got the drums done even.
Right. Like, we're just trying to figure out what wasn't shown to us.
They would have gotten to the drums quicker if they didn't have to change from the water competition, and they would have just gone straight from the water competition to the drums. They would have been there quicker and potentially got done earlier and not been last.
Correct. And, we've got a little video clip that shows Leo and Alana crossing the finish line behind some of the other teams that are in their regular clothes, and just to show you the difference.
Yeah, so whenever we were originally watching this, I was like, it's kind of like
Why?
Anybody else. I think we even like afterwards, like maybe called Russell or we were on the phone, and I was like, it was weird that they were just like running across in their swimsuits. Like no one else.
Like everybody else is in their clothes and they're in their swimsuits. So
that was kind of weird, but I guess I didn't think of it like just watching it that first time. But then when we went back, it was definitely a little odd, right?
So we're just here saying that we feel like something happened.
It seems like something happened to push Cody and Nathan back. That wasn't shown, not a part of the edit, obviously, or we would know.
Right.
And something caused them a huge delay between the water competition and the drums.
Right.
That caused them. And just based on the time, they probably wouldn't have got last. They wouldn't have been close to first by anything.
Right, but I feel like they would not have finished last.
Right. And
that's not saying that they would have beat Leo and Alana, because Leo killed it on the drums. He finished in 3 or 4 tries. They also didn't ever show us how many attempts it took Cody to finish the drums. So, yeah, that also adds to the speculation a little bit. We got everybody else's count total, but we didn't get Cody's. Yeah. And so,
yeah, so it's just, a little interesting. So that's our evidence, y'all. Let us know what your thoughts are, because, and that competition sucked because they could only do one at a time.
Right.
That sucked. That sucked to do, on a first episode, and especially, if something did happen with production and then that's the type of competition, it's like, that kind of messes with the, dealing of the hand.
Right. So.
Take it as you will. Let us know your thoughts. Drop us a comment. Are we crazy? What are your thoughts? And again, there's a whole Reddit post. We'll retweet the Reddit. We'll put it on Twitter. We'll tweet the Reddit post and the source for the graph, because it's very interesting.
Yeah. Something happened. Something happened that we weren't shown, and we're just trying to figure out what it was.
Yeah. So, all right. guys. So we will segue into that was our tea. Y'all let us know what you all think about this. And, also I just want to add, like, it's not like we think production was like, let's get rid of Nathan and Cody. Obviously, they were like super entertaining.
Yeah.
They have a lot of value to bring to the show. So it's not like we don't think they were sabotaged. I just think like something happened on accident, maybe, because like I was reading Reddit posts on this too. Like apparently in past seasons there would be things that happen like a camera person like their camera died, and so then they had to like go back, like team and everyone, like that team had to go back so the camera guy could get another battery, and it caused them to be like delayed.
Yeah.
And I'm like
that's kind of a bullshit reason to get eliminated.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it impacted anyone like to get eliminated, but I'm just saying like as an example to what's happened in other seasons.
Yeah. So
I hate to use these labels, but I don't know their names yet. What was with the nerdy couple helping the sisters? So we're gonna get to tonight's episode. They call themselves the nerds, so don't feel bad. All right, so let's move into the episode. Y'all drop us your thoughts on that little theory. We'll tweet it out. Let us know. All right, moving into tonight's episode. So a little bit of a disclaimer. My husband had surgery today, so I was not able to. I just got home. I wasn't able to catch the beginning of the episode. So Kylie's really going to be navigating us through the beginning of the episode, but I did catch the end, and yeah.
You just get ready to chime in when you know what we're talking about. So we get the start of the episode, and I feel like we got our first real confessional from Hung and Chi, where we got to learn a little bit about them. And they flashed up this adorable picture of their family. They've got 3 small children, and they just talked about how they've been married for 10 years and just the hustle and bustle of life and kids and work, and that they're really excited to just reconnect. And I just think Hung and Chi are so cute. They were my winner pick, and they kicked ass in the first leg. And
So what was the first competition?
So the first so they fly from Tobago to Colombia to Bogota. So we're laughing about that, y'all, because there's, we're from Texas and we got our Texas accents, and there is a town in Texas not too far from us that is literally called Bogota. And so I was talking to my husband. I was like, how do you say the capital of Colombia? He was like, are you serious? So, Bogota, Colombia. Not Bogota, Texas. So anyways, once they landed there, they went to the salt mines, and they got to go down into the salt mines, and they were told that they had to find a timer, and the timer was either a 10-minute timer or a 20-minute timer, and they could use this as a yield to the other teams. So basically, like we said, we're not Amazing Race super fans, but in past seasons they have had the yield, and that's basically just like a timeout for whatever team you yield. So like if the NFL guys wanted to give it to Kelly and LaVon, then if their timer was worth 10 minutes, that would give them a 10-minute timeout. If it was worth 20 minutes, that would give them a 20-minute timeout. And it's theirs to use at any point during the race. So they have to go through and search for them. Now, as they're searching for them, they have the option to either keep going and try to find a 20-minute one, or they can take the first one, which allows them to start. The first 5 teams got to start the next part of the race earlier than the second 5 teams. So, I mean, I don't know about you, but if we were on the Amazing Race, which we have talked about possibly applying for, then we would not be spending any extra time looking for that 20-minute timer.
Yeah, no, I would just get whatever was found first and move on, especially so they were told about this 5 person, this 5-team thing.
Right.
So, okay, yeah. So, like, if I knew that, definitely.
Right. Like, I'm going to take my time now and worry about the other stuff later. But I'm going to take this 30-minute head start now as opposed to having this in my back pocket at another point.
It's way too early to start burning bridges. So,
right. It's a 10-minute difference later in the game versus a 30-minute difference right now.
Exactly.
So I would take the 30 minutes now, grab my timer, and try to get one of the first one. So we do see the 6 a.m. departures. They decide that they're going to work together, and that is Will and James, Team Purple, the NFL guys, the volleyball players, Hung and Chi, and Eswar and Aparna. And they're like, hey, we'll help each other out. So the next thing they had to do was they had to climb a bell tower and get a little trinket or an emerald. And then they had to go and cash them in with some brokers to get their next clue. So they all kind of work together. They all finish it pretty quickly. But so you didn't get to see this part. But damn, like, how many of them can speak Spanish? Because I
was like trying to watch before we go home, and I would catch pieces, and they would like say things in Spanish.
Right. I mean, there were several that are fluent in Spanish. Lavon was fluent in Spanish. One of the volleyball players was fluent, and I'm just thinking, okay, once again, we live in Texas. We took 3 years of Spanish to graduate high school.
I took 6 years of Spanish, and I still cannot speak it.
You took it in college too?
I took it in college too.
Look, I got some Rosetta Stone Spanish, Espanol, and I do it every once in a while when I have some free time. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of free time, but we're going to have to pick this up if we're going to go on the Amazing Race.
Yeah,
so
let me just add it to our list right here because we have.
There you go. Learn Spanish.
Rhythm.
Work on rhythm.
I can speak like kindergarten level or understand it.
Same. Right. I would be like, Aki, let me out here. That is the extent of. I learned really useful things in Spanish. Like I can say the eye of the hurricane. El oro de huracán.
I don't know if you're going to need that in, the Amazing Race, but like we're in the eye of the hurricane. Oh no.
So, that's what my 3 years of Spanish got me. So mark that down. We need to work on that. Rosetta Stone
added.
Come through for your girl. Okay, so that was just a little side note that I wanted to put in there. So whenever they got to the roadblock, it was clowning around, and this is where they got to join the circus.
Yeah, so I did get to see pieces of this challenge, and so I don't know. There's details I don't know, like who got there first.
So D'Angelo and Gary and Hung and
Gary getting there so quickly, like
right. Yep. Nope. They did real well. They got there quick. And Hung and Chi and D'Angelo did the roadblock this time, and he zipped across the little tightrope like no problem. I don't feel
he like went across the first time, and they're like, "Okay, now we add more, and you go back," and he's like, "What?"
Yeah. So I don't feel like they could probably. I mean, obviously we don't know. But could they actually like have fallen and like onto a mat on this? Because no, I don't think so.
Yeah, they did have a hook. Yeah. It was like, but you could drop your glasses.
Right, but they couldn't actually fall off because like. If I were a man, I would be terrified to walk on a tightrope.
If I'm a female and I'm scared, like goodbye.
Yeah. So
let me add that.
Tightrope walking. We could definitely rig that up in the backyard.
Yes. When I was in elementary school, I was really good at walking around the little wall that was like around the playground. Those little like wooden walls to keep like
like the balance beam.
Yeah. No, it was like all the way around the playground,
Okay.
but it was like wood to keep the gravel in.
Gotcha.
I
Yeah.
was like, oh my God, like queen of the playground. I can walk across without falling. It took a lot of skill. I mastered it by 3rd grade. So maybe this would be my competition.
Okay, so we'll sign you up for the tightrope walking. One of the other things they had to do was like the wheel of death, and they just had to hold on and they spun them.
Nope.
So, how are you with spinning? Because I'm good.
I have vertigo. So,
okay, so I'm looking for a new Amazing Race partner, y'all.
Kylie's searching for someone different than me. Which is
yeah, my husband also gets really bad motion sickness, and one time we did this ride at a haunted house, and it was basically like a hamster cage, which you also missed Big Brother tonight. Catch you up on that, but the competition was like a hamster wheel, and that's kind of what this was like. They spun upside down. And so anyways, this carnival ride at the haunted house, these 2 big ass men on the outside, they just spun us around in circles like 100 miles an hour
and
by their hands,
and Justin threw up,
and no shit for like 3 days. He was sick, okay? And so
I'm just like I have vertigo, so it's not, I don't get like motion sickness, so like I won't throw up because of vertigo. I literally don't know the directions, like I don't know up, and it's like I kind of like have like this like convulsions because my body doesn't know what to do. It happens on airplanes sometimes. It's really embarrassing. But, like, sometimes it'll even happen, like, if I look under the bed because my head goes upside down. It's pretty serious, but there's no cure for vertigo. So, yeah, I would definitely need you to take on this competition.
Okay, yep.
So, like, the same person who did the tightrope had to do this.
Yeah.
The clown. So, they had to put clown makeup on. Can we talk about the clown makeup?
Yeah. D'Angelo, he tweeted out about it.
Like, they had to. Like, did the partner do the makeup for them?
No. The clowns did it for them.
Okay.
Put on their makeup, and then they did the wheel of death, and then they had to do the tightrope walking.
Because that's the competition. Like, the partner does it, and like if you meet the criteria, you get to keep going. Anyway.
Yeah, that would have been fun. A fun little added twist there. Yeah. The only person that we really saw struggle on the tightrope was Alana. She dropped her wine bottle a couple times, but nothing really.
They had to do the tightrope after they did the spinning thing.
Right, exactly. Good. Yeah, you'd be like looking like a drunkard.
Up, much less carry these wine glasses across.
Yeah, so she was the only one that they showed that struggled a little bit, but it didn't seem like they got stuck too long. So
yeah. So after this, they moved on to a
Pimp My Ride.
Pimp My Ride?
I don't know. I don't know what the official title was, but that's what we're.
Okay, I like it. Pimp My Ride.
Like, okay, Phil. with the MTV reference.
And they're like, we're gonna use this.
What was his name that hosted Pimp My Ride?
Oh God, y'all drop it in the chat. What was his name? Like, hold, I'm Googling right now. Oh God, as soon as we hear it.
Yeah. I mean, I can picture his face, but I cannot think of what his name is.
Exhibit.
Yes. I thought
in Bogota, and he's like, we're
gonna pimp your ride. So that's basically
you had to what? Put the little fringe on and the horn.
And connect the horn. But okay, so I decided that Will and James might be my favorite duo because they are so funny.
Wait, y'all. We got to rewind. We got to rewind for a second because on the tightrope, so I started watching right here. On the tightrope comp challenge, the girls finished, I think it was the girls finished, the sisters, Haley and what's her name? They finished and
hold on. I'm going to let you know what their names are.
So they finished. I have it up over here.
Sorry. Haley and Kaylin.
Haley and Kaylin. I thought it was Kaylin, but I was like, I have a friend whose kid's name is Kaylin. I was like, anyways. Okay, so they finished, and they're walking out of the tent, and they tell Will and James it's tightrope.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it was them anyway, since someone told them.
Yeah, so Will's like, "Oh, okay. No, actually, was it D'Angelo and Gary that told them?"
Gary, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so they're like, "Oh, okay. Well, Will, you're the dancer, so you should do this."
Yeah, exactly. And so that's what I was going to say is like, so they kind of had an advantage being told that. And we've seen this in past Amazing Races where alliances, so this is where the alliances come into the, like if you have an alliance with someone and they tell you what the challenge is so you can pick the right partner.
Right.
Advantageous.
Yeah, so big advantage for them. I don't know. I mean, James might have done good on it too, but
he was freaking out a little bit about it.
Yeah, I love Will and James because they are bickering a little bit and they seem just a little franzled to throw in a big brother adjective. And
this is exactly how I would be on this show. Like I would be stressed out and psycho. Like
yeah.
Psycho, because I am a human pressure cooker and like I will have meltdowns straight up.
Yeah. So when they get to Pimp My Ride, they say, "Yay, arts and crafts."
I love them so much. And then at the end of it, they were like, I was just getting so frustrated, but we're so good. Like, and they like high fived and kissed. It was just so cute. And I was like, this is exactly how I would be. Like, I would be absolutely melting down at all the things that I'm doing wrong. But then when I do something right, I'm like, hell yeah.
I'm so good. Yes. Okay, so we see Hung and Chi do this super quickly. And Hung is like this big, y'all. She's so cute and pint size. And she was able to fit all the way up underneath the wheel and just get in there and do the little nuts with her hands. And they killed it. And we see them cross the finish line in first again. So shout out Hung and Chi. Y'all are killing it.
So the tricky part to this comp, though, or this challenge, was the horn.
Right.
The horn was kind of hidden, and you had to plug it in. So they would think they were done because they have all the physical, like the aesthetic pieces of this Pimp My Ride done. But then, like the person that passes them on the test would be like, no,
nope.
Yeah. So Alana and Leo tell Haley and Kaylin it's the horn.
Yeah. Which they and also what I had wanted to say about this is once Will figured out that was what they were missing, he shouted it out like, "Oh my gosh, we have to hook up the damn horn!" And Alana heard him. I'm pretty certain everybody in Columbia heard him. Because as soon as he yelled, like, "What are you doing? Stop yelling!"
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, in 2018 when this was filming, I heard something in my backyard. Like,
hook up the damn horn.
And I was like, oh, I need to go hook up my horn.
Yeah, what? Okay. So, yeah, Alana picked it up from him. They were able to get their horn connected real quickly. And as they were leaving, we did see them tell Haley and Kaylin, and that kind of like catapulted all of them into getting their horn hooked up.
So let's also talk about, so they did this clown makeup for the tightrope competition, and there's not a moment for them to take it off. And so it's hilarious to see these teams getting so pissed in this clown makeup. Like Alana is stressed out, and I think she hit her eyebrow at one point, and so the black clown eyebrows rubbed up against the white, and you just see these it just makes the show so funny to see these teams just so pissed and getting so frustrated at certain moments with this clown makeup on.
I mean, I feel like this is something we would see in Big Brother. They should probably pick this up, give us some clown makeup.
Yeah, because there's this whole cast almost of this season with their clowns. So
right,
put on their proper aesthetic.
Right.
So this was super entertaining. Pimp My Ride was entertaining because of the clown makeup and Will and James.
Yeah.
That out and just being so cute.
Yep. So we kind of see the sisters, Haley and Kaylin, and we see the dad and son.
Well, we also saw Leo and Alana be very confident at this.
Right.
At this competition. So I think it was what Will and James were right neck and neck with them. And, they were like, we're done. Well, Will and James,
we got it.
They start putting their backpacks on and they're like, we're ready to go. They're going to check us. We're going to be good. We're next. Check us. And then Will and James get their check right before them. Mm-hmm. And they passed. And then Alana and Leo get theirs, and they don't pass, and they're like, and that's when the horn, okay, so that starts the horn domino.
Yep. So, that's kind of it, guys. What?
I said that's it for Pimp My Ride.
Yeah, that's it for Pimp My Ride. So we see these last 3 or 4 teams all leaving pretty close together. And unfortunately, one of the teams that was lagging behind the whole day was Kelly and Levon, the Olympic runners. And they check in last, y'all.
Yeah, so we see Hung and Chi come across first, and then everyone kind of fills in between. And these final 3 teams are, Levon and Kelly and Haley and Kaylin and who's the other one? Is it Alana and Liam?
No, I don't think so. It was Jerry and Frank.
Jerry and Frank, that's right. Okay, so Jerry and Frank they're these 3 teams, and that it all comes down to the taxi ride. So they finish Pimp My Ride. And they're all getting their taxis. They're yelling at their taxis, hurry, hurry, hurry. And we see in the episode they get to Phil, where Phil is at this statue. And they're running. And we see Haley and Kaylin get there first of the 3.
Yeah.
They are 8th place. And they're like, we're always 8th because they were 8th last time too. So we see them get there. And then, how they edited this, I was like, all right, here come Frank and Jerry. But they didn't show up on the mat with them at the same time. So I'm like, how far apart are they? We'll never know.
Right. And then
so Frank and Jerry, you are the 10th place team or the 9th
place team. Yep.
Move on. And then Kelly and Levon, same thing. I'm expecting them to run up on the mat with them. Phil tell them that they're last, whatever. But they don't. Frank and Jerry move off, and then we get Kelly and Levon. It appears that they all get here at the same time, but apparently they don't. So we were watching, Kelly did an Instagram live right after this, and she said that they're pretty far behind. So, so apparently, it all came down to this taxi ride, and unfortunately, Kelly and Levon's taxi driver failed them.
That sucks.
So we're really looking forward. The Olympians have been eliminated from the race. But with that, we will get to talk to Kelly and Levon. We're going to have them on our show within the next week to talk about
their time.
Yeah, so we're excited to hear from them and talk to them about their time and their future plans for other reality shows. So,
so we'll let y'all know on a date once we get that firmed up, but we're excited to get to chat with them. They were one of the teams that we were both most interested in seeing race, just based off of their bios, because they were really funny. And so I'm just so disappointed that they're already eliminated.
Yeah, and can we just talk about, no matter what, Kelly is the best goat racer that there is, because she's a damn goat.
She smoked that goat.
Yeah. Not I cooked him on a barbecue pit kind of way, but legit ran way faster than that goat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, any questions, comments, concerns? What are y'all thinking about after this episode of Amazing Race? How are y'all's feelings on, what's going on? How do y'all feel about the season overall? What team? So we talked about Will and James and how we got to see a little more of all the teams. And every episode we're going to get to see a little more, and it's really hard to judge them on cast bios first episode, but we're getting to see a little bit more. And let's just reevaluate the cast a little bit. We talked about the first episode. We're 2 episodes in. We're getting a little bit of better feelers. So Riley and Madison, thoughts? Yellow team, brothers from Hawaii, volleyball players.
They're kind of obnoxious.
So I didn't get to see them at all. But again, mine's kind of going on the first episode, but they were like super competitive, and I don't know. I like them. So
yeah.
Like I kind of feel like they're getting a winners at it, to be honest.
Yeah, I could see them winning. They're really strong, but just not necessarily my favorite.
Super well-rounded.
Yeah, I agree. Like they were one of the teams that was also speaking in Spanish. I feel like that is a huge advantage if you're able to speak the native language. So, props to him for that.
Yeah.
I think their experience playing volleyball abroad is probably going to be beneficial for them.
Yeah, it might be. We'll see.
All right, so let's talk about the next team.
Before we move on.
Okay, hold on.
Before we move on, Madison did get engaged over the weekend. So we have to give a congratulations to Madison and his now fiance, Chelsea. They're engaged. And go check them out on Instagram for their beautiful engagement photos. I would show y'all, but y'all know I have a cracked phone screen.
Nobody wants to see that.
Nobody wants to see my iPhone crack. So go check Madison and Riley out on Instagram.
Okay, so let's talk a little more about Will and James. We've already talked about them quite a bit, but I feel like whenever we did our cast assessment that I was like, okay, Will looks really familiar. And I said that about a couple people, I think, but Will was one of them, and that's because Will was on America's Next Top Model.
Yeah, so that's why he looks freaking familiar.
But right, and he was like...
He looks familiar. Like, have we seen him before?
Yeah, but, and he was like, he almost won America's Next Top Model. Like, he went really far. So, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, I know we've already said, but pretty much still have love for them. They're still super entertaining.
Very entertaining.
They're like the most relatable to me because how they act is exactly how I would act. It's how I would try not to act because I know I'd be recorded, but like I wouldn't be able to help it. Like,
right.
My frustrations would come out, but then, when you win that competition and it feels so good, I wouldn't be able to hide it of how excited I am. And I'd be yelling, like, the horn,
connect the damn horn. All right, so let's talk about Gary and D'Angelo. How are you feeling about this team?
So I think they're like America's favorite on all the posts. Like a lot of people are rooting for them. But in our rewatch of episode 1, did you notice that on their shirts, Gary's
cinnamon and
sugar.
Sugar.
So D'Angelo is cinnamon and Gary is sugar.
Yeah, I did notice that.
And it's so cute. I just think they are so cute.
Yes, they have a fun friendship.
I love how Gary was cheering on D'Angelo in the tightrope. He was like, he was so excited when he got the one glass across. And he had to go back. He was like,
no,
like, oh, we might not make it. They're very genuine, and obviously we want them to go far. Do I think that they will make it all the way to the end and win? I'm backing out of that a little more now. than I was at the big, like, just reading their bio.
Yeah, they definitely turned it around this leg, but I don't know if they're going to be able to keep up the pace. I feel like Gary may be a little bit weaker than D'Angelo.
Yeah. All right, so then we have Hung and Chi, who are your winner picks, and
feeling real good about it right now, guys, but
solid.
Can they keep it up?
Can they keep it up? I do love them. They're just like so cute and really dominate the whole season. Like, I'm always eager to see. Like, I also wonder truly, like, how far ahead are they? Because
I mean,
at the end of the episode, I feel like they cross the finish line at the halfway mark of the episode, and then
it's like, okay, forget Hung and Chi, they're done.
Yeah, they finished, like, Phil wasn't even at the mat yet.
Right, they've already taken their trip to Switzerland and gotten back.
Yeah, so Hung and Chi
crushing it. Like, I'm feeling real good. Wish I would have bet some money on Hung and Chi.
Yeah, we should have done a draft for the Amazing Race because you would have probably won.
Finally, I would have done good. Okay, so what about Kaylin and Haley?
Kaylin and Haley, who in my head, I do this thing where I create celebrity names in my head regularly.
Okay.
So they're Kaylee. So all the time I'm like, Team Kaylee. If y'all watch our Big Brother show, I'm like, Nakoti. Like, if we just talk about these two people together, I put their names together.
Divided.
Yeah. There's like Hung and Chi or Chung, and Haley and Haley, and Kaylin are Kaylee, and Riley and Madison are Radisson. I just like can't help to do this.
What about Gary and D'Angelo?
Gary.
Huh?
They're
Gary?
Yeah.
The Gary. Something's wrong with this girl, y'all.
I can't help it. It's like this thing I do. Y'all know. I mean, I don't know. Anyway.
What about Kelly and Levon? This is fun.
Kavon. They're Kavon. They're just Kavon. But it's K-E. K-E Von?
Kavon. Got it.
Yeah. You know how, like, some people see, like, math color, like, numbers as colors? Like,
no. I'm real bad at math. I'm disgusting.
Like, numbers as a color. And it helps, like, mentally, like, they just, like, connect these dots so easier. Like, these math wizards, okay? It's like a thing, okay?
Yeah, I don't have that.
I don't either. I do not have that at all. I just have this talent of putting people's names together, and it's never going to get me anywhere, but maybe I could work for, like, People Magazine and create,
celebrity couple names.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. That's your future. Some people
hire me now.
Some people, are like
my resume.
Some people are creating the cure for the coronavirus, and you can get new names. But everybody makes their mark in the world.
We are Triley.
Ooh. I don't know. We'll have to think about that one.
We could also be Kisha. But
absolutely we're Kisha. Are you serious? Yes, Kisha, for sure. Okay.
All right.
Moving on. Kisha.
Y'all can just fast forward through this part. It's like 30, it's like a minute too long, but just fast forward. We're sorry for boring y'all.
Okay, Jerry and
talents, people.
What'd you say? Oh, your hidden talents? Okay. Okay, so Jerry and Frank.
Drank.
Okay, Fairy.
Stop. All right. Out. We're back on topic.
Fairy, what do you think about Jerry and Frank?
So I still love Frank. I still love them.
Right. I want to see some more. Like, I don't feel like we're getting enough of their story yet. I feel like they're one of the teams that story-wise is lagging behind. So come on, producers, give us some more Fairy in our lives.
Yeah, maybe they're just, like, not freaking out. Like, they're pretty calm. I mean, like, I didn't see the whole episode, but they were freaking out a little bit in the taxi. And so we got to see a little bit of, Frank being stressed out.
Right.
So.
Okay. Aparna and Eswar.
Well, I didn't see them at all in this episode. So
Yeah, I was going to say same here. I feel like they're another team that we're not getting as much from yet. So I think that they're going to be kind of, spicy
okay.
whenever they get the chance because of based on their bio. So I'm waiting for them to turn it on and let us see their personalities a little more. Right now, we're not getting that yet. So I don't have much of an opinion on them.
Alana and Leo.
So they have personality in bundles. We're getting to see a lot of them, I feel like, in the first 2 episodes. I feel like they're going to go pretty far because they are. I feel like whenever you're thinking back on the first 2 episodes, you think of Alana and Leo, Gary and D'Angelo, the volleyball players,
Tongue in cheek. Yeah.
tongue in cheek because they're great.
They're definitely up there in the, people you think of on this season. They could also potentially be getting a winner's edit
Yeah.
because they are shown a lot, and their struggles, I feel like, are almost always shown.
Right,
And
exactly.
their victories are almost always shown. So we do get them a lot. And, honestly, just seeing Alana in the clown makeup, not freaking out, but being frustrated, like, it was just great. Like, I honestly loved it. And I mean, I agree. I think they're going to go really far, and they're one of those. They're also well rounded. Like, they're smart,
really round.
so physical. And I think they're going to go far. So
yeah, I think that they will be in this season for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up, we've got our what are they? Asian Cajuns. Michelle and Victoria. They did shout out LSU, so thanks, girls. Go Tigers. What do you think about them?
Well, I didn't see them, but
you didn't see them in Pit My Ride when they were putting up their little streamers, and they're like, "Oh, these are purple and yellow. These are LSU colors."
No, and probably had I seen that, I wouldn't have even thought twice about it.
Yeah, well, go Tigers. So, good job, girls.
Mm.
I love them.
Yeah, from the first episode, and of course, like, we follow all of these people on social media, and I love them on social media too. Like, they're entertaining, they're funny, they're real, and so just I hope that they're here for a while.
Yeah, I think that they're a pretty strong team too. So I think that we'll see them for a while. And then Kelly and Levon, womp womp.
Yeah, we know that they're not here for the long haul, but also love them, of course, and they're a force to be reckoned with either way. I think, some things just got in their way. It was a tough episode, and they were great. I'm honestly shocked that they're gone as early as they are.
Yeah, same. So, if you had to make a guess, who will be eliminated next?
Ooh. So I'm worried about Drake. Jerry and Frank. I'm worried about them.
Okay, Fairy, we agreed that this is their name. Fairy is much better.
We did not agree that. You threw it out and ran with it. Okay, bye. So just looking at, they came in 5th place on the first episode, and they came in 10th place, 9th place on this episode. So,
yeah,
they haven't. We just haven't seen them absolutely kill a challenge yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I am worried about them. I'm worried about them.
Right. I'm a little bit worried about Kaylin and Haley. I think that we could see them.
So they're not going to go home this next episode, because the next episode, the 9th place team goes home. So they're going to go home the episode
on the 8th one. Right. Yeah. I feel like that might have been a little bit of foreshadowing. So I think you could be right there.
Always coming in 8th.
Yeah. So, and maybe they put that comment in there because they're going to go out 8th. when
They're
there's only 8
supposed
teams
to run
left.
across the mat every time and like
Yep.
show them the 3 times that they ran across prior.
Right. Exactly. So we'll see. All right. So
says that Aparna. Oh, never mind. I thought you were giving. So I thought Ryan 51 was giving Aparna an S-Far a celebrity name, but he just says.
Apari.
So that's not a celebrity name, but like maybe if like Aparna and Jerry were on a team.
Yeah.
Or yeah, I don't know. Okay. Anyway. All right, guys. Anything else, Kylie? Did I miss anything? I'm excited for the competition next week. We got to see the preview for next week's episode, and it looks like they're doing some type of weaving with the leaves, and those competitions absolutely piss me off. Okay. Like, absolutely. Okay. So like me and Kylie started talking about if we were to be on the Amazing Race, these are where it's going to test our friendship because I'm going to be pissed. Like, I'm going to throw that basket right into the ocean because I can't get it to that. So,
yeah, okay.
I'm excited to see. We see Alana and Leo seem to have frustrations with this, whatever they're building, a wall, a roof, something with leaves. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to pressure cook these teams a little bit. So excited for next week's episode. Y'all tune in next week after the Amazing Race. We'll be back.
No, we won't.
We won't be back here the night of the episode because Big Brother finale is the same night, and we're going to be doing an episode talking about Big Brother and the finale with Russell. So we're super pumped about that. And we'll be here. And then the Amazing Race episode will be delayed to the next night. So Thursday night, check us out for Amazing Race update. And we'll be back here tomorrow to talk about Big Brother. So, all right, guys, drop us a comment. Don't forget to subscribe to the Russell Hantz Show and let us know. Hit us with a thumbs up. Drop us with a comment. Sometimes words don't come out of my mouth and I just move my body. Y'all drop us a comment. Don't forget to hit subscribe so that you know every time we're going live with the latest updates on your favorite reality shows. All right, guys. That's it for tonight. Cheers, Kylie.
Cheers.
Bye, y'all.